Episode 7, Hope is a Practice. Exploring the Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman through the lens of marriage and family therapy. Hello, welcome back to Ask Mindful M. I'm your host, Mary O., Associate Licensed Marriage and Family Therapist. This summer, we've been walking alongside some of the most influential voices in African American poetry, discovering how their words continue to illuminate our understanding of ourselves, our relationships, and the systems we live within. Today's conversation reminds us that healing isn't only personal, it's also communal. Today's featured poet is Amanda Gorman, whose poem, The Hill We Climb, invites us to imagine what becomes possible when hope moves beyond a feeling and becomes a practice. And if it's not ringing any bells, think of Barack Obama's first term inauguration, the young African American woman who spoke her poem. This is her, Amanda Gorman. When the day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet, the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother, can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this to be true: that even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we are to live up to our own time, then victory won't lighten the blade, but in all the bridges we've made, that is the promise to glade. The hill we climb, if only we dare, it's because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we stepped into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, History has its eyes on us. This is the area of just redemption we feared at its deception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over a catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised, but whole, benevolent and but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation. Because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise through the gold-limbed hills in the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. In every known nook of our nation, every corner called our country, our peoples, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When the day comes, we will step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it from there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. And so throughout this series, we've talked about climbing, dreaming, removing the masks we wear, remembering our worth, and choosing authenticity over acceptance. Today's poem gently asks another question. What happens when we don't climb alone? Hope is often described as something we have, but perhaps hope is also something we choose again and again, especially when life gives us reasons not to. Marriage and family therapy reminds us that healing rarely happens in isolation. We grow in relationships. We are shaped by families, influenced by communities, connected through systems. One person's healing often creates space for another person's healing. Likewise, one person's pain can ripple through an entire family system. Hope works in the same way. It spreads. When one person chooses empathy, someone else feels seen. When one person chooses repair, a relationship begins to heal. When one person chooses courage, others often discover they can be courageous too. And so my clinical pearl, if you will. One of the most beautiful truths in therapy is this. People don't always need someone to rescue them. Often, they need someone willing to remain present while they discover their own strength. Presence communicates hope. Consistency builds trust. Connection creates change. So take a moment today and consider, who has become a source of hope in your life? Who stayed when it would have been easier to leave? Whose encouragement changed the direction of your story? Now ask yourself this. For whom are you becoming that person? Hope isn't always pretending everything is okay. Hope is choosing to believe that healing remains possible, even while the work continues. Every healthy relationship, every repaired relationship, every act of compassion, every boundary rooted in love, every step toward understanding helps us climb together. Because perhaps the hill before us was never meant to be climbed alone. I'll leave you with this question. What small act of hope can you practice this week that might make someone else's climb a little lighter? Thank you for spending these mindful moments with me. If today's conversation encouraged you, share it with someone whose hope has strengthened your own. And until next time, stay mindful.